the Dr.Kat Show!
Wow! Yeah! Wow! Yeah! Wow! Yeah!
Sit down.
Woo!
We are here to interview a few immigrants. We are going to interview a Chinese guy, a Russian,
Ananas!
and a Mexican.
Yamnasi!
We are going to interview the Russian first. So, Nico, why is Canada a very promising destination for people who want to start a new life?
Dr. Kat, I come here to Canada because I wanted better life for my family, as well as a better life for myself, so I can get a better job and make sure that my children are more successful than I ever was.
So, Nico, the next question is, how does Canada's culture or economy benefit for immigrants?
Dr. Kat, I believe that that the economy here in Canada benefits from this because if us foreigners come here to Canada, that means much of our foreign investors might want to invest here. Investing here in Canada could provide more jobs as well as a better economy. The culture has also changed. If other people come here, other foods are discovered, different sports, as well as special occasions.
So, Nico, the third question is, what sorts of politics does Canada have about it?
Well, Kat, some politicians want more people to move here because of the jobs that we have available, but the lack of people to work. Others believe it's a bad thing because our country becomes overpopulated, meaning we have to spend more money on healthcare, more money on welfare, as some people are out of jobs and cannot work, and more money on government housing because some people just can't afford to buy a house or rent a house.
So the last and final question for you, Nico, is how could the government get the word out, in your own words, of the Canadian opportunities and requirements?
Well, Dr. Kat, in my home country, I saw very many TV commercials which were very informative, as well as ads in the paper and radio commercials. Some radio commercials that intrigued my interest were about how many jobs were available here in Canada. Some requirements that I was asked at the border were enough money to support myself for a couple of days, or someone that could support me for a couple of days until I was able to get on a job and get on my feet.
For our second interviewer, his name is Raul from the heart of Mexico. Your first question is, why is Canada a very promising destination for your culture?
So Canada is a very promising country for me because in my old country I could never do the things I wanted. And now that I'm in Canada, I got a good job, a good pay, and a family that I can support. So now that I'm in Canada, I have more freedom and I can feel free to do the things I want.
Our second question for you today, Raul, is how does Canadian culture or economy benefit from your culture?
So the culture in my old country is very poor. But now I come here, it is enriched, and I have more opportunities for jobs and other stuff. And the economy here is way better, and I can buy things without spending too much money, and so I can buy stuff for my family.
So the third question is, what sort of policies does Canada have?
Alright, Dr. Kat. In Mexico, our policies were that we could not do anything without the government seeing it and agreeing with it or disagreeing with it. And now in Canada, we can do whatever we want, and without the government knowing, unless it's illegal, then they have to know about it.
Our final question for you, Raul, is why did it make you come to Canada?
So Dr. Kat, what made me come to Canada was I was sitting in my room one day and I wanted to move somewhere away from this awful country I was in. So when I turned on the TV, it said to come to Canada because it has lots of square feet per person, lots of room for you, and it makes everything from scratch. So I thought it was interesting that everything was free here and it was like all cool and like it was all like better here. So I moved here to see it, and now I'm loving it. I would never go back to Mexico.
Okay, so we are now going to interview Dr. Kat. Hello. Dr. Kat, for all of the immigrants watching, what are some suggestions you would give them to help move to Canada?
Some pull factors are like your community. So you want like a good community that watches you, like your house while you're gone, things like that. You need a good healthcare system, lots of job opportunities, good schooling for your children, and lots of land that you can get for fair prices.
Mr. Kat, what are the legal barriers for immigrants and refugees to Canada?
So you have to have a police check. You have to make sure you have like no criminal like actions in the past, and you have to fill out quite a few forms. So then you become a legal Canadian citizen.
Now, Mr. Kat, what are the current Canadian immigrant policies and requirements?
So same as goes for the last question. You need a police check. You need to make sure you have no criminal actions in the past. And you have to have a purpose of settling in the country of Canada.
Go. Okay, so, Mr. Kat, last question. What do you think are the most popular Canadian destinations for immigrants?
Well, we have lots of different places. Like Toronto, you have like all those sites like the CN Tower, Ontario Place, the Science Centre, and then also Wonderland. And then you could also have places like Edmonton, like the Edmonton Mall, because that's a really big attraction there. And there's a bunch of other places like the prairies, because it's good for farming and stuff, and a bunch of other places. Well, this was the end of an episode of Dr. Kat.
Dr. Kat, da na 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 na. Dr. Kat, da na 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 na. Dr. Kat, Dr. Kat, Dr. Kat, Dr. Kat, Dr. Kat.